Hello, a very warm welcome along to Sportsbet TV. Paul Alster with you, as ever. Looking forward to what's going to be a great weekend's racing, in particular at Cheltenham. Of course, we all love the action at Cheltenham. We've enjoyed some good racing on Friday. And I've got two tips for you, two free tips. And they're both at Cheltenham on Saturday. If you happen to be joining me for the first time, then please just press the subscribe button just below the screen. It's absolutely free. Then you'll be kept in touch with all my bulletins when I'm offering free selections on this sports bet service. Well, last weekend I gave you a couple of selections. Percussion gave us a really good run for our money over the Grand National fences last Saturday, eventually finishing second to his old rival Jez Kill at Aintree. And then Vera Verto earlier, well, it tried hard. Went off in front, was still there going down towards the final furlong. They tried to get away from them, but couldn't quite hang on for the place money. But a good effort from Percussion, and we remain very nicely ahead over the last month or so after a series of really good results. And talking of good results, last weekend was another very good weekend for my out in front service at Patreon. And you can find the sign-up link in the description box there just below this screen. And it's been continuing an outstanding run of form, I'm delighted to say. And last weekend, along with one nice winner, there were four of my other five selections hit the each way frame, including the 100 to 1 shot Pleasant Man in the November handicap. So that was like a very big price winner and really did boost the profit and loss. Indeed, since the start of October, which is the start of year two on Out in Front, so that's basically over the last 6 or 7 weeks, we are £819 up to level £10 each way staking. And that is incredible stats by any standards. It's a shame for you to miss out. So why not jump on board, join us at Out in Front ahead of Saturday's racing at Cheltenham, and indeed Sunday. I'll have tips for Sunday as well. And going on to plenty more big meetings. We're at Ascot next weekend, of course. And then, of course, you've got the big Betfair meeting at Haydock and all sorts of other great stuff. The big Newbury fixture, the old Hennessy Gold Cup. And then we build up towards the Christmas period where it's going to be chocker. It's only £25 a month. Definitely worth a shout. And there's no tie-in, so you can leave if you choose to do so. But the way results are going, people are signing up and they're sticking around, and I'm delighted to have them with me, and I'll be delighted to have you on board as well. Anyway, let me take you to the first of my two selections on Saturday, and that's Cheltenham in the 2:55 race, which is a 3-mile handicap hurdle. They're going good to soft in places, and that's the way it seemed to be pretty much on Friday. 12 runners for the 2:55, and this race is quite fascinating because it pitches some up-and-coming young staying handicap hurdlers against some rather proven talents at this distance who are very well known to regular followers of the sport. Now, the young brigade is led by the 6-year-old Irish raider Buddy One for Paul Gilligan. This horse has already shown a liking for Cheltenham. It was third in the Martin Pipe conditional jockeys handicap hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival in March, and then went on to be second in another very hot handicap hurdle over the 2.5 miles at the Aintree Festival a few weeks later. And he seemed to improve, stepping up to 2 3/4 miles last time when he beat a good sort called Gabby's Cross at Galway. But he has gone up an extra £9, and there's 2 furlongs further to go this time. But he's sure to be thereabouts, I think. Buddy One. Now, John Joe O'Neill has a 6-year-old as well called Judicial Law, who's been progressing up the ladder last season, won at a couple of minor tracks such as Worcester and Huntingdon, and has also already won this season at Kelso. And then it took another step up, really, in defeat when it was second over course and distance at the last meeting at Cheltenham. Now, he's only gone up £3 for that, so looks dangerous. And there's a dark horse in the race, another 6-year-old, ex-French, a winning hurdler in France called Placenet. And this one has joined David Pipe, who did have a winner at Cheltenham on Friday. And Placenet makes his British bow off what could be a lenient mark of just 124. And if he makes the British hurdles, then he could very well be in off a really good mark. And the bookies don't seem to be taking too much chance. I think they're running a bit scared. He's the general 5-1 favourite. Of the rest, well, among the older horses, Come On Teddy represents Tom George, who had his first winner for 5 months earlier today, I think. And Come On Teddy, third in the Pertemps final over the course and distance at the Cheltenham Festival in 2021. He's been off the track since he pulled up at the 2022 festival in the Kinmure Chase. So it might well be that he needs this outing. He's been off a long while. But Shan Blue, for Dan Skelton, Grade 1 winning novice chaser. He returns to Timber for the first time since finishing sixth in the Ballymore Grade 1 novices hurdle of 2020 behind no less a horse than Envoy Allen. But he too hasn't run for a while. He pulled up at Christmas in the Roland Merrick Chase at Wetherby, but he really is on a good mark if he's fit and ready to roll, and the market will probably tell you. My choice, though, in the 255 at Cheltenham, in a race where there are plenty of possible winners, my eye is drawn to the top weight, Chantry House, trained by Nicky Henderson and the mount of Nico de Bonville. Now, Nicky had a nice winner in the last race at Cheltenham on Friday in the JP McManus colours, and this is the colours carried by Chantry House, a horse who switches back to hurdling for the first time since finishing third to the mighty Shin in the Supreme Novices Hurdle of 2020. That was 3.5 years ago. That actually was the only time Chantry House was defeated over hurdles in what was a brief but impressive career over the smaller obstacles. Now, since then, this role now has been lightly raced but very talented. He won the Grade 1 Marsh Novice Chase at the 2021 Cheltenham Festival, and then he followed up a few weeks after that in another Grade 1 at Aintree. He beat Sham Blue, who reopposes here, by 32 lengths off levels. He went on to beat the high-class Santini in the 2022 Cotswold Chase here at Cheltenham, so the course certainly suits him, but he's only run 3 times over the last 22 months, and he's failed to finish on each occasion, including when he was pulled up in the 2022 Cheltenham Gold, which he was only a 16-1 chance. Now, after that, he had wind surgery, ran just twice last season. Things didn't go his way. He unseated his rider early on in the Grade 2 Many Clouds Chase at Aintree, and then he fell 3 out when still right in touch in the Grade 3 Roland Merrick Chase on Boxing Day at Wetherby. Now, there's no doubt that Connection seems to think he still has an engine, and although he has top weight here, so it looks like he's got a lot of weight, the fact is his mark of 147 is 11 pounds lower than his last chasing mark, and it gives him a real chance, dropping significantly in grade. Most significantly, though, is that he has a really remarkable record fresh. Indeed, he's won no less than 7 times after a break of 2 months or more, including when winning after a break of 7 to 9 months. So the absence will be no problem. He's obviously a horse that you can get fit pretty easily. And off this kind of a mark, in this much lower grade, this is not Grade 1, 2 or 3, this is a handicap hurdle, I think he's got a huge chance. He's 9-1 each way at the time of this recording for 4 places with Bet365. I'll be with Chantry House in the 255 at Cheltenham on Saturday. And my second selection will be straight after that. The 3:30 race at Cheltenham is a 2-mile, 5-furlong handicap hurdle. There are 9 runners this time. Once again, John Joe O'Neill with a fairly fancied runner in Springwell Bay this time, who's won 3 of his first starts over hurdles last season. His only defeat during that run was at this meeting 12 months ago, last November, when he was a really good second to Fenor Cross in a Grade 2 event over 2 miles. He also went on to run well in defeat when 6th in the Grade 1 Mersey hurdle at the Aintree Festival last April, so he could be a force to be reckoned with, but he's got top weight. This is his first run of the season, and last time I looked, 2-1 was the offer, which looks a bit miserly to me. His main market rival is Resplendent Grey for Ollie Murphy. Now, this horse won a couple of minor events last spring in good style. Then he appeared to have taken a really big step forward at the start of this season when he ran in the Grade 2 Persian War Novices hurdle at Chepstow, and he finished second to the well-regarded Captain Teague, who was beaten at Cheltenham on Friday but ran well in defeat. Now, Resplendent Grey has gone up £7 for that, but he's only a 5-year-old, so he could have a lot more to offer. And I think he's a really interesting contender, first time in a handicap for Ollie Murphy. Now, Eric McNamara's got a horse called London Office Calling, a horse who's been in really good form in Ireland this summer. Indeed, it's won 4 times, 2 wins on the flat, 2 over hurdles, most recently winning a Killarney 2 mile 7 furlong handicap hurdle in really battling fashion. And although he's set to run here off £16 higher, and he takes on much better horses, he's only got 10 stone 2 on his back. So he's one that I think you could see running well, while the other Irish challenger is the Matthew Smith trained Another Choice, who wears first-time cheek pieces and was a solid 4th of 19 at Punchestown last time out. That was his first start for 2 months as well, so he should be a little bit fitter. And Joe Tizard, who had a winner at Cheltenham Friday, he's got his recent Wincanton second Gaia name, and Philip Hobbs has Wonderful Eagle, who's only ever run over hurdles at Newton Abbot, and there are others to consider. But after giving this race quite a little bit of thought, I've got to be honest, my selection is a horse who I think could pop up at a nice price. 10 months ago, the Sid Hosey trained Rock My Way, the Mount Hero, James Best. He built on a very promising debut second at the track on his rules debut, when he made all the running to win the Grade 2 Ballymore Novices Hurdle at Cheltenham at the January meeting. Now, that was a Grade 2 win against good horses. He made the running, he stayed on really strongly that day, and he looked to have a bit left in the locker because his ears were pricked as he crossed the line ahead of Pembroke and Mufasa. He won with a bit in hand. Now, on the evidence of that, it looked like he'd stay 3 miles, but he did go up to Grade 1 at the festival. The Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle, it was really deep ground though, stamina sapping, and he was prominent. He was right up there until the second last, and then he faded very fast and sank in the mud, and he was eventually pulled up. And I think there's little doubt that that race really took its toll on him because he ran poorly back at Cheltenham a month later at the April meeting, and then he had his summer break. Now, on the face of it, if you look at bare figures and the bare finishing position, he's 13 of 20 runners at Cheltenham last month. On his seasonal return in a 3 mile handicap hurdle was no great shakes, but he was beaten 42 lengths. But he ran really well, I thought, until the second last, where he weakened like a horse who wasn't fully wound up, and he wasn't at all knocked about. He finished tailed off, to be fair. Now, the fact that he travelled so well for so long suggests the ability is still there. He's still a young horse, and it's quite possible, as I say, he needed the run. So I think the drop back now to the 2 miles 5 and the fact that he's got a £2 lower mark here could see Rock My Way in a very different light. He's worth a chance, I think, and at the 16 to 1 each way, again, Bet365 offering the best odds as it turns out this week. At the time of this recording, he's my choice to give Sid Hosey another big winner at Cheltenham. So those are my two for Saturday. There are plenty more selections to be had from me at Cheltenham, and also I have tips at Wetherby and Lingfield at Out in Front. If you want to check out the link below this screen and consider joining us, we are really motoring there, and I hope we're going to show a nice profit as well this weekend here at Sportsbet. But for now, from me, Paul Alster, I'll say goodbye. Have a great weekend's racing.